Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang.
Happy holidays from the Museum of Broadway!
On this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang, I'm taking you inside the Museum of Broadway with Project1voice CEO Erich McMillan-McCall as he announces the winners of the third annual Winter Wonderland Gingerbread House competition. Museum of Broadway site supervisor Stephen Cardona took me to see a few highlights, including the new exhibition celebrating the Broadway Smash SIX, Milky White from Into the Woods, and André De Shields represented by displays on The Wiz and Ain't Misbehavin, in addition to his Hermes Costume from Hadestown.
Hi everybody, I'm Steven from the Museum of Broadway, and we're here at The Wiz. One cool thing about The Wiz is it was actually not doing very well on Broadway, and so what they had to do is they had to figure out what they were going to do. So they created a commercial. It ran for 101 spots in a 2-week period, and actually ended up saving the show. It went on to run for 4 years, won several Tony Awards, including Best Musical. And here is André De Shields, our original Wiz, as you can see right there. And then we have the original playbill, which also features our wonderful hero, the Wiz. Awesome. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Come back to see us so you can ease on down the yellow brick road here at the Museum of Broadway.
Hi, I'm Erich McMillan-McCall, wishing you all a happy and joyous holiday from the Museum of Broadway and Project One Voice. I'm in charge of community engagement and donations. We have been doing this extraordinary gingerbread house contest for the last 3 years. It's been so well received from the Broadway community. So during the pandemic, one of the things that I noticed is that we weren't engaging as a Broadway community like we normally had been doing. Yeah. So the Broadway community is just so creative. I mean, they do these amazing fundraisers every single year. They raise money for Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. And during the pandemic, we just weren't gathering. So we created this contest as a way for us to gather in a very safe way. So I delivered gingerbread houses to the Broadway shows just randomly. Some strange black guy came and just delivered a gingerbread house. And I gave him instructions. I said, we're going to give you the kit. And we provide the kit, you provide the creativity. And lo and behold, we had these amazing gingerbread houses that went viral on social media. It's a great way to sort of celebrate the Broadway experience and the Broadway community, and to celebrate the history and the incredible story of Broadway.
Can I just also add
that, please.
The Broadway community is already super creative, but the thing about this is a lot of the cast gets involved in this, and this is a way for like the cast usually gets to perform on stage, but they don't get to use the other side of the creative brain, which is like really designing and figuring these out and how to make all these incredible creations. So it's really, really cool to see everybody kind of come together and bring something new.
Yeah. So we are here today to announce the winner. It's Bree
Studio,
yes! Oh,
Thank you.
Great to see you. Now, look, we're meeting for the first time. We've chatted on email, and we're meeting for the first time. She's also in the show. Please tell us the character that you play.
I play Ellie Greenwich, who's one of the principal roles in Neil Diamond's life story. And our show is just so fun and joyful and filled with music. And so when we were talking about, we did the Halloween haunted house, which was really fun. And it just kind of wet our whistle to like be even more creative. So we just wanted to make something that celebrated our show and celebrated music, and this is what we came up with, our record player.
Look, who doesn't love Neil Diamond? America, it's one of my favorite songs. I mean, I'm a closet Neil Diamond fan, okay? I like a little hip hop, but I also love a little Neil Diamond too. So just so you guys know, A Beautiful Noise was actually the winner of the Gingerbread House contest. So that's not a big surprise to you.
Yeah, so my dressing room mate, Jesse, and I, it's just the two of us in our room, and we are both crafty people, and through stressful times when we were in previews and when the show first opened, and especially around the holidays, like we do a lot of crafting in our dressing room as it is. She learned how to knit a wooble, and we have clay at all times, and we have pens and pencils, and we're just always making things to kind of stay calm and grounded and gift people and make stuff. And so when this came up, we were just really excited about it. And she was the one who was sort of like, well, what if it was a stack of records? And and I was like, well, what if it was a record player? What if it spun? And so we just kind of started building from there. And then they have two little scenelets from our show. So the recording studio sign that lights up here, and our little recording studio singers around the mic. That's a scene in the show.
Yes.
And then on the other side is, because our show is a flashback, and we have an older Neil Diamond reflecting on his life with his therapist. They have these two sort of iconic red chairs in the show. So these are our little characters that are sitting in their red chairs, but you know, holiday themed.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the design. So what's making all of this?
So these are Triscuits that make the speaker.
Oh,
these
we
are
love Triscuits.
Rolos that make the little control knobs. This is made out of licorice tape. That normally has like sugar on the outside, but I washed it in the sink.
Wait a minute, you washed all of it?
Yes, I took all the licorice and I just washed it in the sink to get all the sugar off so that it would stick better.
Oh my.
This is a little chocolate bar, little Hershey's Kiss is the record needle. And then these that make up the records on the side are Oreos.
Without the stuff.
Right, so we took the stuff out.
The stuff is out, okay.
There was a whole day of stuff removal, and people were just eating it, and you know, like coming in, having extra candy treats. There's a whole bag of Hershey Kisses now because I only used one, so everybody's just been eating them. And these are airhead pieces that make up the little designs on the roof. And some of it's just sculpted fondant, and then the little characters came in the gingerbread kit.
Oh wow! And the turntable itself,
the turntable itself is ye old Jeff Bezos. Amazon.
A Beautiful Noise was the winner. So we had the second place winner was Kimberly Akimbo. The detail on this is really spectacular too.
Oh, cool.
The detail is what I love most about these gingerbread houses. I mean,
these are Jolly Ranchers. I think.
I know, and look at this. This is a scene from the show. This is just so amazing.
This is marshmallow fluff, I think.
Oh yes, yeah.
Wow.
And my favorite part is getting them from the theater district to Trader Joe's.
How do you do that?
Very carefully. Literally, I'm trying to hail cabs in the middle of Times Square, which is almost impossible, but somehow I get them all to Trader Joe's without any injuries to myself or to the gingerbread houses. And this is the crew members' favorite. This is from the Drama Bookshop. I must say they are a first-time entry. And I must also add that Lin-Manuel had 2 entries. So he is partial owner of the Drama Bookshop, and he's also one of the writers, producers, et cetera, of Hamilton. Hamilton didn't fare as well this year. I mean, normally they are right on point. They had a lot of great competition this year, so they placed well, but they weren't among the winners. So, but I do have to have a nod to the Drama Bookshop, so Lin-Manuel is still in the mix. So Lin-Manuel, we want you, when we do this competition next year, we want you to come and visit and vote for both of your show, Hamilton, and this, and you'll probably have another show as well. Okay? So please come visit the Museum of Broadway. It's an incredible place. Have you been to the museum?
I have. My whole cast got to come. They had us take a tour, and it was really amazing. It was fun to come with. We have so many people of different generations in our company, and so they were able to like point things out and be like, I was in that, and I signed this, and our show was actually featured in the new show room where they kind of show what's currently playing, and we got to see ourselves here.
Oh wow!
It was really amazing. It's a very special place.
Oh, it's very special. You know, I'm so obsessed with SIX. And I was just in the room right next door.
The costumes?
Oh yes,
so cool.
The costumes, the music, you know, the beheadings. I'm just obsessed with everything SIX. Okay,
yes.
All right. Happy holidays to everyone, and thank you for joining us here for the announcement of the winners of the Winter Wonderland Gingerbread House Contest on Broadway. We'll see you next year. Hello, my name is Erich McMillan-McCall. I am founder and CEO of Project One Voice. Cicely Louise Tyson was born on December 19, 1924 in New York City. She was an award-winning actor, trailblazer, philanthropist, and a phenomenal woman. She wrote in her memoir, Just As I Am, published only weeks before her death, and I quote, "My art had to both mirror the time and propel them forward. I was determined to alter the narrative about Black people, to change the way Black women in particular are perceived by reflecting our dignity," end quote. This year, Project One Voice centered all of our programming around that quote from Ms. Tyson. We wanted to explore Black dignity and Black joy. Most importantly, we wanted to represent the strength and power of Black communities to reclaim their narratives, thrive in the face of adversity, and find joy in our existence. On Tuesday, December 19th, the collective creative community will gather for our annual Cicely Tyson Day in honor and celebration of the birth and legacy of Miss Tyson on what would have been her 99th birthday. Also on this special day, we acknowledge and celebrate the legacy and leadership of Black female identifying creatives in the field by posting images of Miss Tyson on social media using hashtag Cicely Tyson Day, hashtag HBD Cicely Tyson, and hashtag Black Theater Day. That's theater with an R-E.
Happy Cicely Tyson Day!
Hi, I'm Harriet D. Foy, and this is a great day for us all to celebrate Miss Cicely Tyson. For me, the moment that stands out the most is in Sounder. Her husband has been in jail for some time. She's been holding it down. And it's the moment when she sees him across the field. I get the chills now just thinking about it. And it was every emotion that she had, and she had no sound. And then all of a sudden she says his name. That stood out for me as a young actor. And I was like, that's what I want to do. To me, she's the epitome of grace, the legacy, acting, activism, and just all that is Black excellence. Congratulations, Miss Cicely Tyson, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Carmen Ruby Floyd. I just have a quick story about Cicely Tyson. She came to a show that I was in on Broadway called After Midnight, and I got to touch her. I got to be in her presence. And that doesn't happen too often when you have pioneers that you can actually meet. So that was an astounding day. I felt her presence. I felt her legacy. I felt her excellence, and I thank her so much for the trials and tribulations that I have no idea what she had to go through, but she did it for her art and for her people, as she has said many times before. So she means legacy, she means triumph, and she means freedom as well, freedom to be a Black woman in whatever shape and form that may be. So happy birthday.
It was the first representation of me seeing someone that looked like me when I was a little girl, and it was outstanding. It was overwhelming, and it let me know there was that magic that she had that just made me know that theater, film, arts was for this little Black girl.
Hi, my name is Sharon Hope, and Cicely Tyson means to me perseverance, strength, never give up. That's what she means to me.
Hey, hello, my name is Sheila Barker, and what does Cicely Tyson mean to me? Well, she was my icon. She was the first African-American spirit and actress on stage that embodied her presence, her being, her culture, her baldness, her afros that I just loved. And the most important thing was when I got to meet this little tiny bee in Whole Foods here at Manhattan. She was standing in line behind me. I was just overwhelmed with her beauty and her essence and her truth and all of her artistry. She's such a warm, loving being. Thank you, Cicely. All.
Hi, my name is Janice Lorraine Holt Mason, and this is my mother, Yvette Marie Kopic Holt, and I am standing on the shoulders of my mom, who made her transition this year, and she is standing on the shoulders of her mother, Hattie L. Kopic of Newark, New Jersey. My mother is an opera singer. She's an educator of Washington, D.C., and she laid the foundation as best as she could so that I can be here today to share my gifts with everyone.
Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang. I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to sit down with my friend Perry Young because he has such amazing news for me.
Thank you so much, Lia. As always, I'm so grateful to have you.
On this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang, I talked with actor and activist Perry Young about his Stop Asian Hate film and his return as Father John in Season 3 of Warrior, the cult martial arts drama based on the writings of Bruce Lee, now streaming on Max. In this way, what is going on with Warrior?
That's right. So we just heard the news like 2 days ago that Warrior has moved from Max to Netflix, and it will just gain a whole new audience that we were not able to reach before because Netflix is huge, right?
Yeah.
It's like so huge globally. Max is great for the U.S. audience and European, but Netflix is global. I mean, people in Asia will watch Warrior now, so it's going to be amazing.
Now, for those who have not seen Warrior, why have you not been watching Warrior? We are on Season 3, after all. But for those who have not seen Warrior or who are new to Warrior, let's put it that way, are new to Warrior, who is Father John?
Father Jun is a leader of the notorious Hapway Tong, and it's a Tong that's gotten together to have power to fight against the ducks in China. It was just an absolute pleasure to when I first read the script, that the writers to be experiencing like the creativity of the writers, to know when to bring Father Jun and Young Jun back together, and it was just a perfect time. It was just the perfect dramatic and emotional time to bring father and son back together in a historical moment in American history.
Last time we saw Father Jun in Season 2, he left Chinatown at the end of the season. He just said goodbye, take care, I'm going on a walkabout. It's a big world out there. I'm just gonna see what's out there for me. So that's the last time we saw Father Jun. A lot of people thought, oh, well, what happened to him? Is he ever coming back? Well, he's not dead, So those showrunners waited for episode 5, Season 3 to bring Father Jun back, and it was kind of amazing. A lot of people kept guessing, going, "Wait, I've been following Perry Young's Instagram. I think he's out there. He's there, right? He's there, right?" But he just pops back in, and the audience just kind of my social media just blew up, and we just saw everybody went, "Oh my God, Father Jun, he's back!" So he comes back in just the perfect place. It's a plot line. If for those of you who are watching, Young Jun ends up in a deportation camp in Chinatown, and he gets beat up by these guys who the Hapway had wronged in the past. And so as they're getting deported back, they finally think they can have their revenge on Young Jun, so they beat him up. And in one scene, he's laying there, and you just see a cup of water come into the shot, and and you hear the voice, "Drink this," I think, something like that, and right away everyone goes, "Oh my God, that voice is Father Jun," and it turns out that Father Jun was also picked up through some sort of sort of immigrant roundup, right, and ends up in that deportation camp, and it's an amazing episode. It was just incredible to shoot because it was my first day back after 2 years, a 2-year hiatus from filming. I had filmed, all of us actors had filmed like 3 or 4 other series, movies or whatever. And to come back and go, okay, we're gonna do this again, right? We're gonna do this.
And to come back and do it as a family.
Absolutely, and right when I landed, I had luckily it was like, oh my God, I'm seeing my friends.
Right.
And it felt so good to see your friends, and fellow actors. But when you're on set and you're thinking, you're waiting for your moment to go on screen, camera again for the first time, I'm thinking, I know I wasn't the only one, is the character gonna be there again? Because I've done all these other characters since then,
Oh, right.
Right,
As an actor, am I going to be able to pull out Father June?
Am I going to be Father June?
Wow.
Right? It was interrupted.
Right.
It wasn't just we're in that world and we stayed in that world.
Right.
I went and done another other things.
Well, especially because season 1 and season 2 were shot back to back.
Close. It wasn't back to back.
But close enough where you were still able to maintain character.
Close enough where we didn't all go get a bunch of other jobs.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't a 2-year hiatus.
Right.
It was like 9 months. Some of us did another show or two, or a movie, but the character was still close. With the gap between 2 and 3, it was huge. We didn't think we were coming back. A lot of us didn't know we were coming back until we got the news, and it was like, pack your bags. It was so quick. It was kind of an amazing thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, are you trying to keep it spoiler free so that people can actually watch the episode, or do you want to talk about the storyline? You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I could just say that the storyline continues in the same way it started out, where it's really every episode, every moment is still like kind of anti-Asian hate, and you go, that's just how it is for Asians in America.
Right.
Especially
no
matter what
century.
And even more so back then, of course.
Right.
But you see like the seeds of Asian hate, capitalism, racism, immigrant scapegoating. It's all happening right now. It happened back then. And Asian Americans have shifted, and we had created more of a sort of a foothold in America. But we're still so small number-wise, right? We're like 7% in this country. So a lot of Americans will never have an Asian American friend or coworker. So our stories in Hollywood are the only way that we can get our experiences out there in the world. But in terms of the storyline, I mean, same thing as season 1 and 2. We fight the ducks. We fight systemic racism, and that's why fans love the show. It's like we just go all out and fight systemic racism.
Well, there's no other show like Warrior in terms of representation, in terms of fully fleshed out characters that are Chinese American, and I'm really so grateful that Netflix is going to allow new audiences to see your show.
Absolutely, I'm really curious on how it's going to play out, because Netflix is a global platform with a lot of Hong Kong, Japan, and China, Japan, and Korean product.
Right.
Right. So to see our story that is Asian American content it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
I think it's about time.
I think it's about time too. I think people will get a fresh view of like Asian cinema and kind of be able to see the difference between, Asian American content and Asian cinema.
Right.
They'll get a sense of, oh wait, there's something about Warrior that's kind of smart in a certain way, right? Like these actors handle their dialogue in a certain with the sort of clout of being Americans, whereas in Asian cinema they don't think about that. All right, so we had a strike, as you mentioned, and I actually, like a lot of us Asian Americans who picketed, we saw how few our numbers were as Asian American actors on the line. We're like, okay, we do represent that. We're that 5%. We're not even the 7% Asian Americans, because the 7% includes all Asian American diaspora in America. And we're talking about doctors, lawyers, workers. But as an artist, we're already such a huge minority. So there were even fewer AAPI faces on the picket line. So by the middle of the strike, I got together with Nick Sakai and Sybil, your friend Sybil Santiago.
Santiago.
And we said, we have to do this AAPI Rally Day, right?
Okay.
So we got together and we produced a day where we had speakers to highlight the fact that that Asian American actors matter. And we're here on the line also.
Well, and that we're not dilettantes, that this is our profession.
Absolutely, and we shouldn't appear as dilettantes on television, right?
No.
Right, and so it just so happens that 2 days before that rally, I bumped into our friend David Henry Huang, and I said, David, would you like to speak at this rally? And David showed up front and center right there, you know, and Lisa Takuchi Cullen, who was the first person of color to lead the WGA East, the Writers Guild of America. She also happens to be the first Asian woman. So it was Lisa spoke, David spoke, Ezra Knight, African American president of the New York chapter of SAG spoke. So it was a people of color moment, and it was really amazing because it was like today it was solidarity. Like all the other days, there were very few Asians. That day was full of people of color because it was advertised as the AAPI Day, right? It was amazing. We spoke, David spoke so eloquently, everyone spoke, and it just felt like we were home, you know?
Right.
And but throughout the strike, my manager, bless her heart, Davian Littlefield, said, you should take this moment to learn a new skill. This is a moment where I could sort of like connect the two worlds, my music world and my film world, into one. And so I produced and directed my first film, Stop Asian Hate, Love One Another.
And who are the members of your band?
Right, so the film, my longest cohort is a guitarist singer Richard Abhara from Slant, who you know. Then there's Billy Asai, veteran bass player in New York City, and Jun Suenaga on percussions. So it's an AAPI group. And it just so happens that all our songs were, you know, like sort of like activist based, you know. We highlight Corky Lee and the Go for 442nd Battalion, Go for Broke, and Rick's story of being a Japanese American whose family was interned in the Japanese concentration camps, Japanese American concentration camps in America. So it just was so natural that our voice was about, you know, the other, right? And how, again, in relation to the majority and a systemic kind of a...
So this is your first short film that you have directed and are in, right? You're in because the band is featured, and you're just starting to submit it to film festivals.
It's wrapped. I'm really proud of it, and we are just starting the film festival circuit. So I'm submitting to everyone.
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Everybody's got to tune into Warrior in February, and on this episode, we're actually going to have a sneak peek of Stop Asian Hate, the film.
All right.
Stop